Ah, okay. Yeah.
Bueno, seré mi hijo, lo que había, no voy ni la tuya no ereba, no voy ni la tuya no cumple la tuya ya que no busina. Seré mi hijo, mama no gunda, how you are wala ya no ma. So, we are wagiri budu, liga na buseru bay. You we that go wongo. Ya na buseru bay, seré mi hijo, bono. Lenga bamba mlelu bay lere, mlelu bay.
So basically, what she said, she realized that you guys are here in her very beautiful kitchen for you guys to learn and see the cassava meat. And then what she is praying and she wants that the performance and the presentation that she will be giving um, you got more people and more production coming. So she's so happy that you guys are here and she wants to welcome you guys to her beautiful kitchen and for you guys to experience what she gonna be presenting in a while. Thank
Thank you. Thank you. So it's very important in our indigenous presentation that we always speak our own language, in our own language. And many times we don't need it to be translated. I'm thankful that baby translated, but it didn't need a translation. And many times, Minister, when we go into your spaces, I always insist that we begin in our language with a Maya prayer, Garifuna prayer. So we thank you for taking part with us. The other thing we are learning from, and I'll ask the people to introduce themselves, their name and where they're from, before we invite you to speak and share your thoughts. And thank you for giving us the support, not only by your presence, but by resources. I want to acknowledge the President of the Garifuna Nation, Egbert Eugenio, and all the delegates from Dangriga, right? Mr. Castillo, cassava producers. We had some heated discussion yesterday, about how we can move forward with the entities that exist. One of the things that we are very strong about is the issue of spirituality. We're not talking about religion, but we're talking about breaking through and breaking the cycle of divisiveness among ourselves, right? We are going to continue to move forward and not ignoring that, but certainly not engaging with that. Okay? And so that's what the purpose of the conference festival has been. I want to also note that yesterday, Cerro is a designated area of the Garifuna. You heard what Rodney said. Rodney indicated to us that the people did not believe the existing system, right? No disrespect, Ben, but we as a sovereign people, and sovereign I mean that we were here before the colonial people, right? We were here, and Garifuna is indigenous. And so, and that comes from Urume, that we are inviting you to accompany us on the pilgrimage to Urume. Your life will never be the same again. When you go to Urume, when you go to Baliso, when you go to that place where our people were genocided, and we are here, we are a miracle. Many of the indigenous people are miracles, that we more than survive the abuse. Yet, we have the heart and the ability work together. That's what this is about, right? Presidency, we hope you'll be here tomorrow. But tomorrow we're going to Barranco, where we're going into the space of the Dabuyeba. This is like a Dabuyeba, huh? Where we present the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? We're not going to avoid dirty situation, but it's a healing process that we are going through here. The first part of healing is to acknowledge the trauma, and we're good to go. We're not going to stay in the trauma, but we're going to press through it and stuff. So at this point, I'm going to ask everyone to, including the children, to say their names. Why I insist on the children, even the littlest one, because I am who I am, because Amanda Guzman Ellis and Ethel Ellis made sure that we were cultivated into leadership. Right, so we're going to include everybody. So I'm going to ask Dr. Torres, and then we're going around, and then ask Minister if you will say a few remarks, and if people have questions and points, but you need to know who is here. There are dignitaries here, okay? So Dr. Torres, and he.
Our outer part, Jeff and Dan, and I need you to say your name, your position, and what you stand in the university, and who you, right? And what is your post now in class. So, and then everybody else just your name, where you from, uh,
He tells me what to do. Okay. So Dr. Torres, you first in terms of why you're here. Who are you and why you're here? And there we go.
Um, Good day again, and I'm representing the APR Paritarian Network, and also I have my particular program that I created for a model for the country and for the world. Um, I I have been working in this for gardening and project or whatever I call it. Since I was 17, I decided to leave leave school behind and study plants because I believe that plants have so much to give us in terms of food and medicine. And that's why I know that school or university are good, but somebody needs to um, to learn more about the plants to share because some instances you don't need to buy expensive medicine. Sometimes simple medicine are around that we take it for granted, and sometimes we cut it down because we don't are not educated or conscious about the benefits of it. So that's my main objective to preserve and to conserve the endangered species that are that are getting lesser and lesser every time because for example in the lumbering area people don't let the big trees produce seeds and that is very wrong because where will get for the future generation. And I worry about that a lot because I've seen people abusing a lot in that form. It makes me sad. It makes me sad because I think about the children that are coming. What they will find grasses. Grasses are good, but if people are cold, we need all type of trees that are around us that maybe we don't know their benefits, but we could find out by asking or experimenting. Um, myself, I like to experiment about the plants that I know that are medicine that are secure to have. I'll tell you one little short story about one time I was walking in the jungle. I had a running nose. It hurts a lot when you have a lot and then you don't stop. You keep cleaning and cleaning, and then afterward you barely want to touch your nose. So I was sampling many kind of leaves, because I know that they are medicine. So I get to one special plant that I call them jackass bitter. So I chew a little piece like that and drink a little water. Like in 5 minutes, no more, so that I share that when it's weak and you get tired, feel tired, and you could have to have a heart attack by getting too tired, like in Parliament. So I do a lot of experiments with plants, and I need to share with people, and maybe I need to maybe write a little book or something, because I I believe that I might be soon flying to Venus or some other planet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Perez. And I'm going to, first of all, ask him later on at some point. He has shared with you the Chancellor's Medal that he received from the University of California, Santa Barbara. And also the government of Belize honored him. But that didn't happen just like that. That happened because of sessions like this, where we are intentional, we communicate, we reach out, and we ask people to do the right thing. So right now we are appealing to do the right thing. And I will ask, not right now, but our scribe and the leaders in our to review along with Jeff, our colleague and support, about some of the points that came up yesterday. That we need everybody. Everybody brings a treasure into the conversation, right? So I'm going to ask this young man who was so brilliantly, what you call it, that's a mema, so first of all, to introduce himself, I'm going to ask everybody to say, the certain key people are going to stop because of the deliberations yesterday. They came up with some tangible recommendations. So because many were not there yesterday, we want to present the commitment that we all made in moving forward, right? And everybody foot will be held to the fire. That's just the way I am. Sorry. Yes, I'm not sorry. Because somebody needs to push forward and make things happen, make it not be same old, same old. We have a lot of activities going around here, PG, and around the country. Question is, how does that translate into uplifting and upgrading our communities, our people? We have a good time. So what? It's good. So I'll ask this young man, say your name, you are part of that.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. My name is Kevin Ramos. I'm from Cerro. This beautiful, my beautiful home. This is my beautiful home. My mom, she bakes cassava bread, like I said, and I'm ready. I'm a youth. I'm willing and ready, to push forward, to preserve our cultural heritage, to restore our language, to restore our food. Let's celebrate. So welcome, welcome everyone.
For now, but pass on to the president of the
Felicita. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Bidi Benafi. Um, my name is Chaka Egbert Eugenio, and he reminded me that I used to teach Dr. Honorable Louis Abadi. Right, went to school with my first cousin. Um, so happy that you're here. With me, so, and because I feel that, yeah, I was thinking, we share in terms of cultural heritage something in common. You have indigenous, right? You have indigenous roots too, like us. And I was very happy when you were made Minister of Indigenous Affairs, along with other things. So with that said, um, we have that commonality. I don't have to say much because you know what I'm talking about. You live in our community, and apart from being a student or lecturing students, that we want to develop the, not only the aesthetic value of the Garifuna people, but you know, the value of people on the whole, and not just part. So I think that the cassava as a factor within our culture is one element that we need to look at very closely. I'm here to support, 100%. This is like I think the distinct peace philosophy and Aristotle said that who should play the flute, who should we give the flute to? We give the flute to the best person who played the flute, and I think that Ambassador Cynthia is the best person to use the cassava as a way of bringing all people together. And my role is to give support.
Morning. We've been happy. My name is Eric Castillo, and now that I'm back in Belize, I felt I've been away too long. But this is good trouble. Yes, yes. I heard the president of Gary Foundation said yesterday, tangible, tangible, very much so. You do not know what you have until you see what you have. You got to feel it. You got to let the spirit move it with you. Since I came back home, I'm now a farmer, and I admiring the green leaves. Jackass bitters, yes, I'm glad, appreciate that information. Yes, yes. And I think this is what it's about. We all get to know each other, help each other, teach each other. We are, we are as strong as the weakest link. Thank you. I'll say no more. I prefer acting.
Morning, everyone. We've been up. My name is Martha Castillo, and my husband, we recently retired about 3 years ago, returned home. And I'm a retired nurse. This conference has really opened up my eyes. I'm a member of the START Cooperative as well, and this conference has really opened up my eyes, like I said before. And I am ready, Cynthia, to take this information back to the Start Cooperative and let them know what they have and like you said, we need to push forward. It's too many years of stagnation. Too many years of stagnation, and that's going to be my duty to bring the information back to them and to see how we could push forward. So I'm hoping that in the future you'll see tangible, tangible. It'll happen. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Morning, everybody. I am Joanne Dufubab. I am originally from Trinidad, but I have lived in Belize for the last almost 7 years. I am the research director at the University of Belize, and so I've met these two wonderful women and the ministers at various events. I don't like to use the word coincidences. It was divine intervention that had us here. I mean, even getting to stay where we met, they can give their opinion. And I actually went to the same high school. And the last time I saw her was about 25 years ago in New Zealand. And I walked into a restaurant and they were saying, and they said where are you going? They said I asked them where they were going. They were coming down to Fiji. I just picked up my friend Adriana from Chetumal. She drove in from Chetumal, and we said we were coming, and we are here. You know, but that's divine. That is, I mean, in the work that I do as a researcher. the importance of indigenous. Having lived in New Zealand and now living here, I recognize the importance of a group of people really pushing forward for a cause. So I support that fully. When I was in Trinidad, I worked with Akila Hazel, Cynthia's good friend, on a reforestation project, as well as the Americans and the Maroons. So in these unusual ways, I have been there, and as an academic, when I heard what you talk about the importance of rights and support, so that is something we can bring to the university for um, hosting conferences. This year we brought our research series to PG. Our research series is on the road, and we were in PG as our first stop. So I have a very soft spot for PG. In fact, in January, we are bringing the Quebec conference, the Consortium of Solution Educators. Going to be here, and hopefully we can include something like this in our, you know, our conference. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you, Cynthia, for the invitation.
Enough. I am Eugene Benguchen, a retired teacher, proud Barissima.
Good morning to all. Buenos días y muchas gracias por haberme recibido en esta casa. As you said, I'm going to talk in Spanish. Okay. Well, my name is Adriana, and I think I'm the luckiest woman of the world because of whatever all she said. And also, I'm a Mexican geographer. So I believe that I'm here right now because I'm going to listen and to learn so I can see how I can participate and what we can work with in the future. So I'm very, very appreciative of all of you at the university. Yes, Universidad Autónoma del Estado de Quintana Roo. I work there, and I also do a lot of research of climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction. So I'm going with the homework to see how we can keep working together. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jeff Shanks. I'm an archaeologist, my background. For many years, I worked for the National Park Service in the United States, managing a program that provided technical assistance on cultural resources to communities, NGOs, state agencies, things like that for many years. I now just recently moved to the private sector. I work for a large national civil engineering company where I'm building a cultural resources program inside the civil engineering company where our job is to make sure that before large infrastructure projects are done, that we're working with indigenous communities and we're abiding by all of the consultation laws that we have in the United States that require tribal consultation. We have strong laws in the United States. They're not perfect, right? But they are a good model for how uh, projects and work to be done working with indigenous and tribal communities. And so one of the reasons I'm here is I was asked by Ms. Cynthia to speak to that to some degree. My involvement, along with my colleague Don, to talk about coincidences or synchronicity, perhaps, right? Part of what something we spoke yesterday about archaeology and some of the challenges that archaeology in the past has done. Within archaeology itself, we are trying to do a new form of archaeology, a decolonized form of archaeology, and that's what we're talking about. That means working with indigenous communities, working with descendant communities, and I think one of the eye openers for me, I won't speak for Dawn on this, but it was working with the Americans of Trinidad who were descendants from one of the sites in Florida where we've worked for many years. And for me, it was eye-opening that archaeology, it doesn't have to be just about people that lived hundreds of years ago or thousands of years ago. It can, telling these stories, it affects people that live, that are alive today, and it can affect people and help people that are alive today, right? And so we were invited by Aquila to go to Trinidad to a conference of United Maroons and Indigenous Peoples, which is where we met with Cynthia, and that's how this, came to be that we're here today. And I'm so honored to just be here and be able to listen to you. And if we can be of any assistance, for Balaso, because there's some very real, tangible challenges there in Balaso, where there are thousands of ancestors who are endangered there, right? People who gave a sacrifice so that people could be, right? And those ancestors aren't being treated the way they should be, and that needs to change, right? But also here in Belize, right, there are ways that history and heritage and culture can not just benefit people from the outside who come in and exploit those things, right, for benefit, but can help the people who live here today, and improve their situation today. So I'm hopeful that that will be something that comes out of this, and if I can in any small way,
That's a big weight, you know, when they carry it, right?
yeah.
That's how it. One of the things that happened at this gathering was that the Caribbean Development Bank was there, right? Immediately as I met Jeff and Don, I called Dr. Annabelle Ford, right, and introduced them because the way that archaeology is done by people from England is different from what he's talking about. So I was very excited that we begin to have that shift where we as Belizeans and indigenous people become a part of leading that. And so I had them speak, and it was hard for her to wrap her head around that. But anyway, we won't go there. And our responsibility in this space is to be creative and change the narrative, right? So Jeff wrote they wrote some talking points for me when I went to Balisol the first time, right? Because we go there with our empty hands. We have our pretty outfit and all of that. That's good. We have our language, but that doesn't translate into change and support for our people, as this young man was talking about. You're talking about your challenges. So we have been here to address these challenges and to find out who's available to help us. So Jeff gave me some draft talking points, and I handed it to the leaders who were going to pilgrimage. And the leader from the International Garifuna Council, Trevor Garabale, what is that name again? Palazzo, took them as the document guideline. I said, wait, this is for talking. He said, no, this is all we have. We have not come with any strategic thought or plan. So the importance of these two young people and others, y'all have birthday yesterday, I think have a birthday. Anyway, is to guide us in the reality of the system we find ourselves in. The people then know the language, when it's all to navigate and, get us through bond, do economy, money. That's how it's about. But so the conversation is how can we access resources without compromising ourselves?
Long story short. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Dawn Lawrence, also an archaeologist from the United States, coming to you from Florida. And like Jeff was saying, we feel like a lot of the work that we've done over the last 20 so years or so, and then most specifically in the last 5 with Americans and, some decolonization of the archaeology, like Cynthia was saying, you have a standard narrative. And it's been there for a very, very long time. And if you just scratch the surface a little, you realize that so much is not true. But what you realize even more is that so very much is left out. And so we talk about kind of gathering the threads of history to weave a more complete story. And so we're really working on that in our work. But I'll tell you too that, my first job in archaeology many, many years ago was with a museum, and it was facilitating the respectful return of Native American human remains, the ancestors that were stolen across the landscape of North America, during the real colonial science of archaeology when it was take, take, take. And so that frames a lot of my perspective of how we do archaeology now. And it is less of a taking. And we really want to be more driven by the community. Also, we don't even really talk about it like this anymore. It's just the way that we do our work. What do the communities want to see? And we find that different descendant groups have different things that maybe they don't know about their past or their people, and they're looking to use science and archaeology specifically to find that. And that's what archaeology is really good at. It is good at finding those things that were never written down. So anytime that we have the ability to use, what we've learned throughout our schooling and our careers to help people to frame things in a different way, we're so here for that. And I'm just so grateful to be able to be here to listen and learn and to see where I can, best fit in to help in that regard. So thank you, everybody.
Well, I am Adele Paz, and I am originally from St. Haitian. I was privileged to meet Miss Cynthia, and I invited her to an exhibition that I formed many years ago there in San Pedro, which is protecting and fighting for our rights, and it takes us to who we are and protect it. And I feel like God brought me here in Toledo at this time, So because was, my family was despondent so much. We did so much there. We had the best hotel in the country, and we didn't. And it's funny, and, and how the community feels about it, and the Lions Club, and so to see it here, in this time, so so laid back and so and this environment and Garifuna fight for their rights, and it's so refreshing to see that. So I have feel like it's been divine intervention that I am here 2 years ago, and I have been through the community, the villages, and schools for 2 years, and I formed an outreach research center where I'm connecting all ministries of government. I had the privilege to work with Mr. John Gandhi when he was Solicitor General. So I had access to all government teams and how he opened his doors to everyone. He wasn't politically driven, but people driven. And I learned from him, and once you learn from that kind of mentorship, it's in your heart. So I founded my own organization 25 years ago, and I have left my world, to commit to others. And so I have developed 3 projects, which is shelter houses, and I instituted my arts, creativity, and careers, which opens up, and the San Pedro Founders, which is basically knowing who we are and protecting and planning and having a master plan of where we were and where we want to be and identify with other people and then hear them, be with them in every step of the way, and by talking to them and visiting their communities is the best way to approach them and for them to insight into their houses and see how they do the cassava, which this is a new thing for me. So I'm very privileged to listen there to have included me in this. I have Mayan elite, from Valladolid, my parents came. So meeting with Felicita Cancun, and he did a beautiful program there in San Pedro. And with my brother, he has an NGO too in Green Reef. So I do human, social, economic, and environment. So I think to raise a child, you have to be in a community because everything. And I am privileged to have this opportunity to see and to network because I feel we have that the key. We have to learn from each other. We have to learn to work together, and by doing that, we can know how to.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sister Adele. We would like to call Mama Felicita Cancun. Just introduce yourself, please, and then I have the presentation to make to the minister.
Malapit dito na kami. Kabaya Felicita Canton. Ikahala iyo krik.
Vale, no, vale, Belize. Maya and I said good morning to you all. My name is Teresita Cantun. I live in the community of Yokrik, and my country is Belize. And I said I am Maya. In my community, or not just in my community, everywhere I wear different hats. But today I am wearing the hat of Inishahau. Inishahau is from God in English because I am with the youth who are playing ancestral Mayan game. This game was in Belize before the arrival of the Europeans. However, it just disappeared. And in 2003, I had a vision about this game, and I said, that is our game, and I need to do something about it. So in 2015, universe conspired with us, and it made it happen. In 2015, this game was revived again in Belize, and I can recall when I told my family, my immediate family, I want to revive Pok. And they said, pues estás loca. You're crazy. And they said, do you think you can get these youths to be wearing just this little lion cloth hair and make it up here? And I said, yes, it can be possible. And now, for 4 consecutive tournaments, Belize has been champions of the Mundo Maya, and including the United States and Panama. And then in a little while, we are traveling with the youth. We are traveling to Puerto Rico to unite the sacred. I called it the sacred bounds. So we are going to unite Pok with Batu. So I'm just here, and nothing is casualty. Nada es coincidencia, decimos en español. So I'm so happy to see you all, and hoping to have a good time. Thank you.
So let's take a quick walk for your young people so they can join us when the minister speaks, if we want them present. I'm Ping An, myself, and we were in the United Nations, and I have traveled all over the world. I visited the United States, world, and Mexico to represent Belize. And it was hard. I want the UB people to listen. The University of Belize people, it was difficult to get the support of the university to go to the United Nations. But we needed endorsement. We couldn't get it in time because it, thanks to Ping An. Because Ping An was part of the team of preparing us, and she supported the young woman, Kaina. I said to her, you be the one to speak to the university. Miss Kenta, I can't do it, Miss Kenta. Ping An spoke with Kaina and let the university know what time of the day it was, right? Because I was in the rainforest with the Pilar story, and we never have Wi-Fi. So Felicita is going to get the young people to come and join us before the minister speaks. And so Ping An has been our international virtual Wi-Fi people. I mean, during present herself to the University of Belize. and the University of Belize that we made it, the Sita, myself, and Kaina, and Roberta, who you saw met last night, as cult who have the flag. Okay, well, right, but I want you to say what you received yesterday from Mexico, and please come up, President and Vice President, Vice President of the National Garifuna Council, President of the Garifuna Nation. Minister, we welcome you as one of us, honorably, all right? In Eurome, where we hope you are going to come, we're inviting you to Eurome next year for the pilgrimage, where Prime Minister Ralph Gonzalez officiates. We invite you to be our point of contact. Government of Belize, the government of St. Vincent, the Kenya are holding for a long time. I know it's super busy. And on that occasion, Minister, this is a preparation, right? So we're going to prepare between now and March with the help of Jeff and Don, right? Because we've already been in contact with the government of St. Vincent, who have sent greetings endorsing. We have greetings from the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, acknowledging this gathering here. He's aware, right? So we mean business. So as we prepare to go to Rome in March, we are asking you to kindly lead the government delegation. You know how to do it and how to do it, right? Seriously, in terms of our proposal of how Balisao is going to be developed. Balisao, like Cerro and Balisao are connected. Okay? So that's a tall order. I will ask King Ann to say a little something about the United Maroons and Indigenous people who are here with us through her.
Good morning, sir, and welcome to this conference. Um, I greet you from our Executive Director of the United Maroon Indigenous Peoples, which is a social movement for recognizing the sovereignty, the spirituality of Maroons, who, like the Garifuna, their ancestors took their own freedom, didn't wait for the colonizers to say, okay, it's 1838, you can go now. And Maroons live all over the world where there are people of African descent. And they live in Jamaica. Those are the well-known ones. As you know, the Americans of Trinidad who are connected to Florida. Garifuna are also Maroons because they descend from self-emancipated African peoples who intermarried with local indigenous peoples. And also in Suriname, under the Dutch. Some of the earliest Maroon revolts were from Suriname Maroons. This, what I'm wearing, is a madras cloth. This was a gift to me. I think Dawn and Jeff and Cynthia also received these last year, a year ago at the United World Indigenous Peoples Conference a year ago. We were given this, and forgive me for walking in front of you, Mama, but this was taken off of the shoulders of a young Maroon woman whose father is a chief of one of the groups. They're Okanisi, otherwise known as Okan, and she took it off her shoulders and she wrapped it around me. And I'm doing the same because part of what we believe, I'm not Maroon myself, I'm an anthropologist. My father's Ghanaian. So I'm one of you, but I'm also fulfilling the work my father wanted done as an educated man from Ghana. He's Akan. The word Gary and Garifuna, I've known the word Gary all my life, right? It's cassava. We grew up eating it in my house. So now I need that Gary food, the Gary eaters. So I'm taking this off my body with the mana or the spiritual strength of the Okanisi maroons from Suriname. And I'm wrapping this around you, please, so would you stand? And this is a magnet spot. This is a traditional maroon. If I could go under one arm and over the other. Thank you, Gustavo. And I just wrap it. And this, it just lets you know that we appreciate your presence. We trust you. We put our hopes partly in you. And I speak on behalf of the entire United Maroon Indigenous Peoples. Remember, it's a social movement, right? It's a multiple ethnicities, multiple languages, right? And so we are asking that the indigeneity of the Maroons continue to be recognized and supported by whatever you do here with the indigenous Garifuna, the indigenous Maya here in Belize. And I thank you for coming today. This has been my mission. Oh, Miss Pleasant, I didn't want you to keep standing. Miss Cynthia is reminding me that herself and another anthropologist, Diana Fox, who also teaches in the United States, she's an American. We have co-edited a book entitled The Spirit of Marronage. So the spirit, the spirituality of Marronage, aspects of African indigenous self-determination. That book is coming out next year with Women Press. We're hoping maybe we can launch it here in Belize. And Dawn Lawrence has a chapter in it. Thank you, my sister Joanne is volunteering to help arrange that. Miss Cynthia has not just co-edited, she and I have a joint chapter in there. And everyone who has been at any Maroon gathering up until, I would say, last November is named in it. Because looking at the building of relationships, right, as Adele said, not just networking, getting to know you for who you are. That's what Rigo Saki said yesterday, right? We want to live as we are, as who we are, getting to know people as they are. And so thank you for coming to getting to know us as we are. And may God bless you and guide you to do the right thing.
So, so everybody, thank you very much. And now we call on Franco to give us a little about him. Yeah, then the minister, and after the minister, we go through the teaching for the minute to give us the demonstration of the Cassava making in the process. And then we'll be heading over to the field, the St. Peter field, because we have our beautiful young people here from way from Orange Walk. They are first up, and these guys will be reenacting that ball game for us today. Right? So I welcome each and every one of them. Right? Can you start and just say your name?
Good morning, my name is Ra'ana.
Good morning. My name is Jonathan Sosa.
Good morning, my name is Myla Kokom. Good morning, my name is Roger Fuentes.
Good morning. My name is Angel Puchita. Good morning. My name is Abner Sosa.
Morning, my name is Rodney.
No, we don't.
Already said. Already said. Review.
All right, thank you. Sorry. Yeah. All right, Franco. Thank you, guys.
Greetings. My name is Franco. I'm representative of the Real Stuff podcast, part in Jamaica, part in Miami. I've been working with the Garafunas for the last 5 years now, right? When we were under the pandemic. And we were introduced to Queen Lobato by a gentleman in Canada, Alvin Curley.
Right.
And that's how the relationship started. We were able to have conversation with the president and even Rodney, know the culture, food, poetry, all the walk of life of the Garafunas. But over the years, we have been invited to come for the celebration that is taking place on the 19th. But what fascinated me was in 2021, we were able to live stream
the women's conference for like 2 days. And I said, I have to be in Belize one day. Now, I'm here by faith, honestly. I was I never planned on coming. I took some days off from my job. And then I realized, hey, my father said to me, hey, Franco, you know, Queen Lubafu having a Cassava festival, you know. And I said, when is that? And they said, the 14th to the 16th. I said, damn. I took some days off, the 13th to the 21st. So he said, you want us to go? I said, okay, if you can come, let's go. But I travel using body pass. If you know what body pass is, it's not a good pass to travel. So when I mentioned it to Queen, she said, Franco, I think I will see you if I see you. But it's not something good. So I said, no, I'm gonna make it. Well, the first day I did make the flight because it was book. The second day I was driving out in the morning and I was praying and called upon the ancestors of the Garifunas and the Maroon. And I said, today I have to make the flight. When I got to the airport and check in and everything, fortunately, I was one of the third person called to get the ticket. And here I am today. So I was able to meet Queen Lubafu and Egbert for the first time and also Rodney. So I'm here. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. What he did not say that the plane couldn't land, they had to go to San Pedro Sula before they come. No, truly because of bad weather.
Yeah.
And the plane landed in Belize, in San Pedro, then Belize. Then he couldn't get a bus here in time.
It was
So
a
he
journey.
overnight.
It was a journey.
But we're happy that he's
But I'm
here.
an international traveler. So
That's
it was a
right.
journey.
So
Yeah.
I'll ask Sister Rekenia to introduce Minister and President. Protocol, would you stand with him, come, so that we welcome our Honorable Minister.
Dios chihulish chang nikilit ba masaito wait binapi how sumut uh, it gives me great pleasure this morning to introduce Honorable Louis Zabani, Minister of Indigenous Affairs with all the other responsibilities to this very momentous occasion. It is momentous because I feel the energy of unity, the energy of our ancestors, the energy of us, the energy of our children. Um, Here, the Cassava Conference is about that universal language of food. It is about our indigeneity. It is about nutritional sovereignty. And I've had the honor and pleasure of having worked with Honorable Zabani for the past 8 months. And I see a champion for indigenous people in Honorable Zabani. Um, Certainly a great advocate, somebody who understands and advocates at all times for the rights of indigenous people and all Belizeans. Um, as I prepared for today, I was at my farm this morning uh, in my cornfield and then visited where I have my root crops and plantains. And when I was right there, Minister called me. He said, Director, where will we meet? And I said, we'll meet at home. And it is then that I registered. There is so much in common that all of us are talking about today. That which makes us people of the earth, children of Mother Earth. Um, Minister, kindly share with uh, this audience some of the great work that we've done as a ministry in advancing the rights of indigenous people and Belizeans thus far in this short 8 months. And I know Minister has great plans in terms of addressing some of those areas that we heard from our host this morning. So kindly let's welcome Minister with a round of applause.
Very much. Thank you. Thank you. Um, Pleasant good morning. Buenos Benafe. Buenos dias. Dios. I don't know if it's still morning. And I'll tell you, hi, Counselor. Good to see you. Well, with this now I feel a little more empowered. So you will forgive me if I might take a couple little extra minutes. Where's your sister? I think I need them here because I was so impressed with her, with her presentation, and so I want to be able to look at you too when, yeah, that's the appropriate seat to take. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, a true honor. First, we thank God for this lovely day. We thank our Creator, whatever view you might have. We thank the earth. We thank our ancestors for us to be here to discuss such important matters that are affecting us as a people, and that no one person, no one ministry, not even one government can solve. And also to inspire each other, because we all need each other's inspiration so that we can do our part, whatever that part might be. And so many of you have spoken. I wish I could speak to each one directly because I've heard Doctor, gracias, thank you. So many things, and I'll use the time as best as I can. Rodney, thank you. I remember when you visited my office along with Ambassador Ellis, and there was another young lady with you, Samantha. Okay, studying, no? That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. And well, first of all, let me give you a short background about, I won't be long, about myself so that you might get some idea of where I am and how you can help me to get where we need to go.
I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm not
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
This is our ambassador from Mexico. Our personal ambassador from Central America.
Bienvenido, bienvenido.
We're just driving around.
Please, please, come sit down,
But I
have a
have
seat.
to go to the man back.
Yeah.
Like to say goodbye and things for
Okay,
everything that
okay.
we have done for the people.
Okay, well, we haven't met. Let me give you a hug. Buen viaje.
Thank you.
Have a good trip back.
Yes. One more. Okay, thank you people for being with all the people that are working for very glad to be here with you. I'm very sorry that I have to leave. I have another tomorrow with other people. So, but I'm very happy that yes, going to help us lead many. Yes, always support people in these communities. So the Garifuna they're doing there for vegan food is cancer. There is a hospital over there. They have a lot of stones to pay to stay there because it's a treatment, which is nice. So most of them have a lot of struggle to get it for free.
Give her a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. You don't have to punch up. You're perfect. Everybody say Gary. Gary. Yes. All right. Thank you. Okay. Bye. Bye. All right. Sorry. Sorry. Thank you. Bye. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Oh, Felicita. Oh my God. I need you this time.
Good, good. No,
Okay, next time.
no,
Okay.
no,
Bye.
thanks, thanks. It was a pleasure to meet her, and certainly glad that we could pass to at least say hello. Um, so I grew up with my great grandparents in the Stancrick Valley. The Stancrick Valley is that area between Dangriga going up to Belmopan, to the capital for those who might not know. And my mother was a teacher. She taught in the school system for many, many years. I attended Holy Angels Primary School, which is in Pomona, where the citrus factory, the original citrus factory is located. But I went to high school in Dangriga, at the community high school, where President Hine, she was a teacher there for many years. I had the privilege of meeting him there. And where really I became who I am in Dangriga with all my friends. I still hold them very close to me, my classmates from Dangriga, Aaron Lewis, who is a PhD physicist, lives in Houston right now. Taught for many years at UB, was the Dean of Science and Technology at UB. Jamor Lopez, who was also a teacher and who was an education officer and a district education officer for a number of districts. Gwen Nunes Gonzalez, you might know that name, another classmate, and I could go on and on. This was in the early 80s. It was a time when we were uh, revolutionizing our music, where the traditional Garifuna music blended with other types of music, and Punta Rock was created at that time. I had the privilege of um, doing music with people like Mahobak Flores, like Chico Ramos. We had a band at the school, I don't know if you remember. Yeah, we had we were our band was the precursor to bands like Song City Band, Songs Incorporated, the bands that made the song hmm? Kung Soup, what another Kung Soup, popular, and that was borrowed from some of our neighbors, right? Um, so I have that deep connection. Ken Cayetano, we used to go and play in his yard quite a bit after school. And so that's just a little taste. But I grew up with my great grandparents. We didn't have electricity. We would get water from the creek. My great grandfather was from Forest Home here in Punta Gorda. And he learned the communal ways of making life. Milpa system, when we would build our homes, our thatch roofs, we bring the whole community, they come out. Right? As a young boy, I learned how to set the leads all the way up to the top. Right? And when it's time to slaughter the pigs, and everybody comes together and they walk away with some of the meat as a reward for their contributions. And the importance of the forest, the plants. I would like to apply to become a student of yours because that's one area I want to learn much more about plants. It's bitters, we have quite a bit of stuff in the bitters. To be honest, I was maybe a little surprised when Prime Minister asked me to serve in this new term, which started on March 13th, if you will, this year, in four areas: constitutional affairs, religious affairs, indigenous affairs, and transportation. I was a minister of state in the Ministry of Education, and I have done a lot of work there. I volunteered a lot in the education system, having had the privilege of doing a PhD. I did mine in applied economics at Clemson University, for those of you in the US. Um, and then later I did another doctorate degree at Western Kentucky, this time in educational leadership. And I just love that field. I mean, education cuts across everything. So nothing is exempted from education. Constitutional affairs, religious affairs, all these things are, in fact, applied areas of how we learn and teach each other. So I obviously, when in our system of government, we are elected by a constituency, and our primary duty is as an area representative. Now, maybe some of that has been lost upon people who seek office, but that's our primary role, is to represent our people in our constituency to deal with their needs. But then, because it's a parliamentary system along the lines of the UK, the leader of the person chosen by the majority who are in the parliament then becomes the prime minister. And then the prime minister chooses cabinet, the executive. So the executive and the House of Representatives are really one and the same. In larger countries like the UK, you have a large backbench of era reps. In Belize, because it's a small country, you have 15, 17 ministers, and then depending on how many won for the leading party, then you have the rest, a tiny backbench. So here, executive and parliament are pretty much one and the same. I say all that to say that uh, then it becomes the prerogative of the prime minister to choose his cabinet and who gets education, agriculture, etc., etc. And so whatever he asks me to do, I am here to serve. It becomes then a privilege instead, of people might now think it's a right that you have to become a no. So now I have this privilege to serve also as Minister of Indigenous Affairs, an area for which I would say, besides transportation, we've spent a considerable amount of our time. In fact, I dedicated 1 day per week to be here in Toledo because of the Maya land rights case, as you know, that we're working with. I learned so much. But I thought that it was necessary to be here among our people to listen and to learn from them because that's the only way we can actually find the right path forward for us, for me, as best as possible to try to assimilate all that information and see how we can best represent that going forward. Recently, we have been engaging with the Garifuna community as well. And uh, Ambassador Ellis has been to our office. We've met, including with National Garifuna Council and others. So that experience I've had with the Maya challenges that we have helped me a lot to have a broader perspective on also the issues of the Garinabi. Um, Central to understanding the Maya situation is to understand their way of life. And I'm saying this for a reason, and especially the young people here, I want them to listen very carefully to what I have learned and what I'm sharing. Because you see that certain things get done only when we all find a way to get on the same page on whatever issue it is. But the community might be strong with something, but maybe the business sector is not on board. And then that will have an impact on the political sector, right? And so until we all understand each other and we all humble ourselves, learn what is really the situation, until then it is difficult to find sustainable solutions. And what I mean by that is that it will be for the benefit of all those who are concerned with whatever that issue is, until the people say we want something different. But that what prevails is, in fact, what the people are asking for at that particular time in history. So, when we had the Garifuna leaders attend the meeting with me, I said to them, I need your help. I need your help because this is a complex matter. I am a member of the cabinet, and in there, in this case, uh, the last elections, 26 members of the ruling party, if you want to put it that way, are all my colleagues. I'm one of them. But they all have their areas to represent. And so when they go into the cabinet, they are, if they're working for their people, they're going to try to, to make that priority. And so for matters, for example, of land, based on cultural, historical occupation, right? That would be different from what the whole rest of the country is used to. You could understand then my challenge to try to convince all of the others that listen, because if you have someone say from an urban area, they're having challenges to get a 60 by 70 piece of land. The children don't have access to land in urban areas. Then they hear
Trying to figure out if
that the people in Toledo, the Maya, are not satisfied with 5. They say, well, what kind of thing is this? You understand? So no, you have to be able to put yourself in their position to be able to communicate with them why it is that this is important to the Maya people. And if that is not done in a way that they can understand, then it becomes difficult for them to support you. And so we could understand why everybody said, and I've shared this with all my leaders, and I said, listen, please work hard, share the reasoning, share the fact that Maya villages for centuries who were here before everybody else, okay, to start with, have their own practices going into the jungle, going into the forest for medicinal purposes, for material for homes, for the spiritual purposes, for the use of the rivers and the creeks and so on. Okay? And so that matters to, that is vital, that is part and parcel of the life of the Maya in Toledo. Okay? So they have like some short videos that they have been made. So put that out there. Because with people, once you speak respectfully, once you speak humbly, once you try to explain, we're all equal, sir, like you said. We're all children of the creator or of the earth or whatever your point of view is. And so we connect. We connect with each other. There's something else that science and technology has not yet come up with the devices to pick that up. But like the rector said, right? There's an energy here, for example. At some point, we might have a gadget that will show how much electricity come out of you, I don't know. You see? So, but really now there are there's you all know there serious research work going on at top universities. For example, like when people pass away, right? What kind of say, no man, this is what we do, right? And that is quite fine.
So that's the reason I'm here.
And she does that to everybody, right? Okay. That is quite fine, right? That is quite fine. But she does it respectfully. She does it with love.
I'm thinking
And with the
about it. It's a dirty
expectations
game.
that we together
It's a
can
really
accomplish.
dirty game. Yeah.
So now I want to share with you the challenges that
Well,
I have.
if
And
it,
for you to kindly contemplate so you
if
can
you
help
really
me.
want it, then you have to will into the
Right?
shadows.
So the 19th ceremonies, official ceremonies are coming up. And this would be my 8th year when I've had the privilege to speak in Danriga, because that's where the official ceremony
Used
takes
to.
place. And
He used to be their
supported
position
by
there. I
dignitaries
know
and
the
so
son.
on.
He used to be their position, but he's no longer in
And
that
I've
position.
often tried to
He's just a part, yeah. He got
contemplate
defeated.
what's the message that I want
Yeah.
to share and what it is that I've learned
Yeah.
from my experience living with
I think he have aspiration. But then
and
he's
this
not a
year,
popular person,
the
even
type of
within his party.
experience I've had with Indigenous affairs,
Even within his father's party, he's not
I
popular.
want to share with you
Because
what
then
I'm
he's strong-headed.
seeing as
Headed.
a
Well, I
gap,
mean, you move away
or as a
from the
weakness, if you will,
norm,
or
and
as
then
a
people will not
challenge, or as a
gravitate towards you,
constraint
right?
that we
So,
need to
that's
work
one.
together
And
to
two, he's a
address.
little bit
Now,
arrogant.
that constraint
He has to pick his words
here
when
today
speaking to
is being
people,
addressed
right?
in terms of us speaking and
But otherwise than
sharing
that, I
and
love his
uniting.
energy.
The
Even though
constraint
he's
I'm
a
talking
part of
about
the
is the opposite
opposition,
of that. You alluded to
I
it
love his
just
energy
now,
and his determination
where certain
and his
voices are
eloquence,
dividing, so certain
the
voices
determination
are
and
misinforming, and
exactly.
that, I think, is where the greatest risk really lies. I was thinking when one of the presentations, from our sister who requested me this beautiful garment here,
I would say
that
a bit of
it is
both,
very true.
of most of
Over
them.
the years,
Because yes,
our
it's for
people,
the people.
a lot of the
It gives that
suffering has
perception,
been
let me say it like that, that it's for the
successfully
people because
um,
it's governed
punished
by
upon
blacks,
us, if I may use
the
that
black
term,
population in our country, and we
because
want
of
that.
a basic strategy of
However,
divide and
it's
conquer.
made up of socialists,
You know,
of
it becomes a cliche, right? Divide and
basically
conquer.
um, people
But
within
can we
the
try to work with each other to
higher
see
social
how
strata,
that is occurring?
right? So the people who have
What
economic power.
devices are being used to divide and conquer us?
It's
And
bad
sometimes
sometimes because then
the most
they want to look
effective
after
way
for
to
their
divide
interests,
and
knowing that
conquer
they
us
got the
is to
support of
find
their
voices
electorate,
among
right?
us
They look
to
after the
divide
interests,
us,
just like the
right
Republicans.
among our own
They will look
tribes,
after the interests of the
so that
business
the
people because they're not business people.
divider and the
But that
conqueror's
doesn't mean you
hand
address
is
the mass, the
hidden.
needs of the masses.
And it's our own people who are doing that. But here is the good news.
Oh, okay.
That the majority,
I don't
in
think
my
he will do
humble
a good
opinion,
job
from
of
what
it
I've seen and learned, the majority
because
of our people
I believe
end up being wise
that
enough
he has